Hello viewers, this is Say-La-Vee, and we are back with our All the Mod 6 Let's Play series. And we are on episode 7 now. It's crazy to think that I've actually done 7 of these videos. This video is taking place not long after that last one that I produced, number 6, where we actually got an AE system up and running. It was quite an adventure. We had realized that our power problem is real, and we needed to deal with that, so we increased our battery storage here. We are currently pumping coal coke into this, so we are getting quite a bit more RF than we were before. If we look at uses for this, we are doing 40,000 RF off one piece of coal coke, which I believe compared to the charcoal that we were using, we were getting, I think, 24,000? 16, yeah, so we've increased quite a bit on how much per hour we're actually pumping out here. Over here, I have set up that coke oven that we talked about last time. So I complained about the recipe. Oh, I just got rid of it. What a silly boy. I complained about this recipe using the clay blocks instead of the clay balls. And I was just mindlessly crafting in our AE2 system, and that is the recipe that it opted for. So we used way more clay than we should have, and I looked at myself in a mirror and I said, you, sir, need to rethink how quickly you do things. So we've learned our lesson the hard way, not to do that. Over here, we are pumping directly out of this. We're just doing blocks of coal, because like we talked about last time, that is the best way to get creosote. It is more efficient than just doing individual pieces. However, it does take forever. We are pumping into a jumbo tank by Mob Grinding Utilities. This holds 1,024 buckets. So we look at tank, and we look at the recipe of this. This is 4 iron and 4 singularity tanks that hold 32. And those are just 5 glass and 4 iron. So it costed some iron and a couple pieces of glass. But for 1,024, that's a huge tank for as cheap as it is. So that is the tank that we ended up going with. This is pumping, the coal coke is sitting in here, and then it is extracting the fluids into there so I can hit it with the bucket. So moving forward into what I have been doing on the side, I went through and started looking at our recipes here. And I forgot last time that we didn't look into what the kinetic dynamo was going to take. So these are all the recipes that I've had to tackle so far. And the last one that we're dealing with is steel. So the water wheel, I didn't realize has to wrap around a steel ingot. So that's why we're tied up on the steel currently. These water wheel segments though, I went over here and I beat my face into that inscriber just a few more times to get a pattern terminal. And the pattern terminal required another ME crafting terminal and a engineering processor, which is the diamond one. This requires a calculation, which is the Certus, or which is the pure quartz one. And then it required the terminal, which we knew before because we've already done this. That required a formation and an annihilation and a logic like we've done before. And this recipe right here makes 3 of those illuminated panels. So we already had those here in the system. So then looking at that, I thought, you know, let's do this real quick. One of these drives wasn't being used. So I took the 1K storage unit out of it, put it into the crafting storage that the quest required us to make up here. We made that crafting unit. So I swamped just like I said, you can put it in here, get the core out of it, and then you have the empty unit. I put it inside the crafting storage, and then we had the 1K crafting storage available to us. So in order to set up auto crafting, you need an ME interface, which if we go in here, the interface really isn't all that expensive. It's 1 formation core and 1 annihilation core, which when I made the ones that we needed for the, which one was it? The ME terminal. When I make this, these are crafted in 2. So I didn't need to make that recipe twice. I only needed to do it once. And then Sorry about that. I just wanted to mute my phone before we continued. So I only needed to do this core crafting once. This is just any glass and some iron. So I slapped one of those together. And then in order to craft regular recipes, you need a molecular assembler attached to an interface. So this molecular assembler, if we do molecular, that is another craft of those. So, okay. Now that I see that, we already had one left of each of these from when we made this interface, the crafting interface the first time. Then we used 2 to make the interface here, 2 to make the other terminal, and then the 2 that were already in the system we used for one of the 3. So we only had to do that recipe one more time. And this recipe actually wasn't that bad. It's crafting table, some quartz glass, and some iron ingots, which you know that we have plenty of all those things. This is just quartz dust like we've done before. So what I've been working on, this blank pattern, the 2 are all that we have to work with. The 2 are all that we have to work with. So we quartz glass, glowstone dust, and iron ingots. So I can actually make, did I just make another one of those? Oh. Pattern. Oh boy. We have not slept in a few days, apparently. Let's see if we can get away with it. Hee. I have apparently been AFK'd for too long and have not slept. So these phantoms are dying to the one thing that they hate the most, and that's the sun. Anywho, let us make... Oh, okay. So we were missing one of those. Yeah. I didn't realize that I could make another one of those. Did he drop a membrane? Oh no, he dropped okay. Air shard. Whoopee. So I only had 2 patterns to work with. So the first one I used to make sticks, and then the second one I used to make treated wood planks. Because when you put the 5 buckets in here, in order to get the treated wood planks, you have to go into your system, take out a bucket, put it in the middle, craft it. Take out a bucket, put it in the middle, craft it. Take out a bucket. So I made it do it for me. So we actually have, if we go down here, we have the 12 water wheel segments that we need to make 3 water wheels. So if we go here to our Akashic Tome and get out the engineer's manual, which, by the way, I forgot to mention last time, I'm sure you noticed in the video, I increased my GUI scale. So we're at GUI scale 3 now. Normally I play it 2 because that's just the appearance that I like most. But after watching back some of the videos to make sure that everything uploaded properly, I realized on episode 5 that you couldn't really see some of the stuff that I was looking at. So for YouTube purposes, I am going to bite the bullet and have a larger interface here for everybody to see. Which now I realize that the video has a black border at the bottom, which we can get rid of now. Okay, so now that we have all of the fancy recording behind the scenes problems out of the way, we go into this book and go to power generation. This shows you the kinetic dynamo. And it tells you that transferring power is quite helpful provided that you have power. Windmills and water wheels, which the water wheel is what we were working with. So the water wheel is a fairly easy way of powering a dynamo. Its turning speed is based on the water flowing around it. So for optimal results, you want direct water in the semicircle from the top down one side along the bottom. Up to 3 water wheels can be placed against each other. So my goal is that we would have, let's just use this block. So my goal is to have 3 water wheels, a dynamo, a space where we're going to output the energy into a battery, and then 3 more water wheels. And that is going to be our setup for the water wheel situation. So then we're going to have 6 water wheels pumping out energy all at once. And then from that battery, with immersive engineering, in order to transport the power, the way that the mod itself includes is these relays and these connectors. So you put this on top of the battery, and then the relay runs from point to point. So this connector is going to go right there, and it's going to input into this wire. Why did that fill? It filled because these are... Okay, interesting. So we need to put that on extract. But either way, we're going to build the water wheels back there, and then we are going to input into our battery system, just like the solar panels are, into the top, and then everything's going to extract out of the bottom, which we need. We have plenty of charcoal over here. We're going to put 3 stacks in there for now. Actually, you know what? We have a massive battery, so we're looking at what, 12.8 million RF. I think those can handle the coal that I put in there. So we need steel though, and this is why I had metal typed in here earlier. In order to make steel, we either can blast steel dust, or we can use an arc furnace and cook it using iron and coke dust. We can do bulk blasting with create, which I haven't even looked at yet, using steel dust, but all of these things require the steel dust. So how do we make steel dust other than using the blast furnace or something else? So if we look at the recipe for steel dust, we can make it here in the metallurgic infuser with coal or any carbon, whatever fills a mechanism tank with carbon, and enriched iron. So enriched iron, we make that. Uses, we can go back here and steel dust. Now that we've talked about all of these, so the steel dust is enriched iron. Enriched iron is just iron and more carbon. So one piece of coal will make plenty of this. So how do we make a metallurgic infuser? So if we hop over here, we grab our metallurgic infuser. It's 2 furnaces and osmium. It's actually really cheap. So I already made the furnaces before we started recording again. So I am just going to place this here, and then boom. We have a metallurgic infuser full of power. It's got 8,000 RF of a battery of backlog. We are still gaining power here. Quite a bit at a time, actually. This is all happy, and we're not worried, which is wonderful. So we need a piece of coal. We're just going to take a stack of coal, and we're going to take a stack of iron. So if we go over here, we put 1 piece of coal in there. So that's 10 millibuckets of carbon. So we actually need 2 of that. This is going to make 1 iron ingot into what should be 1 enriched iron. Just to be clear, let's watch this happen. Okay. And then that enriched iron gets input back into there. It uses that last little bit of carbon. And then once this finishes, we should have our first piece of steel. And boom, there's our steel dust. And then steel ingot. So we do that. Boom, a water wheel. And just like that, we have our first one. So before I hop off camera and finish up that process, this is how large this wheel is. So it is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks wide, but technically 6 or 7, I guess, because there's 1 block on either side where you're going to want the water. There's an optimal way of running water around that I have learned from several different YouTube videos throughout my lifetime. I'm going to utilize that method, and I'm going to set it up inside of like a little cage over there so I can show you how it's going to look. And then I will bring you guys back in once we have all 3 water wheels and the area that it's going to be set up in. Okay, so we are back here with a fully what did I just pick up? I don't know. A fully constructed water wheel setup. So the optimal way of doing this that I described before is what you need to do is make sure that this is lit so things don't spawn on top of it. What you need to do, I like to do mine with glass so you can see through it. This so we can actually get out of here. So this is 3 solid blocks, and then in front of that you want to do 3 solid blocks. Run the water across it so it flows down the way that it is here, and then destroy those blocks so it flows into it. It doesn't slow it down or anything, but with those blocks gone, these are fully able to turn. So where this is 5 blocks wide, this right here would be the 5th block. This is the 7th one. So the inside of this structure is 3 by 7 by 7. So this goes inside here, down, and then down around here, which it will flow its own way naturally. Then down here on the bottom, you get 3 more. In this corner, you get 3 more blocks. Place source water on top of that. Then have it flow down under it. And then the very important part, that is like your full semicircle where it wants to run all the way around. However, it's important that you recognize that there's actually more that you can do here. So down on this side, we actually have some source blocks. This is just 6 pieces of glass holding it back so it doesn't run down into it and reverse the flow. So that right there behind this block is a solid block that the watermill itself takes up. And then these 3 blocks are water source blocks flowing away from it. So if we were to cut this open, you can see how this right here would be the source block and it's flowing away from it, giving it that one little bit of extra rotational power. And I don't have a good way of telling how much this is creating. This says 75. That's how much is staying inside here. This shows 0, and it does completely. I had this completely one direction. It was going counterclockwise on the dynamo, but this tooltip wasn't changing. It wasn't until I turned it all the way back around, so now it's flowing clockwise on it, and I connected this to where I saw actual power. So I think this tooltip might just be broken, and it doesn't matter if it's clockwise or not. But if we go over here, we have no dynamos running right now, and there's 14 FE per tick coming in from the top here, and we can watch this number just shoot up. Like that's like 500 something RF a tick without us needing anything, and that's including the fact that our ME storage is running. So that's some pretty good power. So what I would like to do now is I would like to make the second one of those. Get rid of this bucket of water. I set up a source block back here, or an infinite water source back here. So this is the platform where we're going to build the second one. I did it with marble and glass just to have a couple different bits of color. I don't know if I like the way that it looks with the stone being the wide brick too. I might change that. I might chisel those to be different. However, I think that what I'm going to do is now we are going to see what it's like to actually set up the auto crafting. Let's get rid of those. So we have 3 blank patterns here. But like I said before, the annoying part of all of this is the treated wood. Right here is some treated wood. We want to do this, allow substitutions because why not? So now if we go in here to there, put that in the pattern section. This is going to show up as a pattern card, but then once it's in here, it actually tells you what recipe you're looking at. So let's take our 5 buckets here. Let's go over here, get our 5 buckets of creosote oil, dump all those in the system. And now 5 times 8 is 40. So if we go over here, click on the view, go to the craftable tab, the treated wood planks, bump this up to 40, and then hit next. And now this is going to take 40 planks, spruce specifically, and then 5 creosote buckets. And it is going to autofill those buckets using this molecular assembler and give us the creosote or the treated wood that we were asking for. So now the next one that I would like to create is treated sticks. So this is a pattern that we want to do. And then water wheel there. We want to do this one. So we put those in there. And now we want to make 12 of these. So if we scroll down to the bottom, it will show all of our craftable stuff. So water wheel segments, we want 12 of those, which we have the stuff. It's saying that I have 60 available of these, and it's going to craft 48 treated sticks to make 12 of these. So if we do this, and then go up here to our crafting, it will show you that it's crafting this very slowly. You can actually watch it happen up here too. It is crafting the sticks, and then it is crafting the water wheel segments. And that means that it's complete because it's not doing anything anymore. And here are the 12. So if we go back in here, we don't need those patterns anymore. So you can craft those in any grid to make them blank again, and then put them right back in here, which is pretty helpful. So I am going to, now that I've shown you how auto crafting kind of works, I'm going to figure out a new texture for our cobblestone and mirror this on this side, and I'll be back with you. So I went ahead and made an LV capacitor, set the sides to be input using the engineer's hammer. You right click to do input, right click to do output. And then this tells you here. So looking at this, look how quickly we're getting RF up there. I just wanted to bring you in and show you what one of these is producing on its own. So, just like we did before, we're going to attach the LV connector, shift right click the wire coil, and then run it up there. And now both of these dynamos will run into the same block. So all the power will go into this capacitor, act as a battery source, and then it will go elsewhere. Ooh, why is it draining so quickly? Oh, because it's all going into our big battery. Okay. So I just wanted to bring you guys back and show you how I was setting up the power over here, why I wanted a battery. All right, I'm back here setting up the water. So there is that. Now, remove these, like I was saying. These all multi-block, so now they're spinning at the exact same rate. It's going to flow down around this side. Go back under there. Come on. Come on, Minecraft character, you can do it. Okay. I moved the ladder, the access ladder, over to this one. We grab 3 more buckets. This hole is still here. Been flooding this whole place constantly. These torches have been removed so many different times from that one silly action alone. So let's go in here for a moment. Put our flowing water just like so. And there we go. That is our wheel set up completely. So this is keeping up. Is certainly definitely transmitting the power over here. Let's take a peek inside this battery. Let's see how quickly we get. Wow, every time that's like 2,500 RF every second, which is incredible, actually. So I would like to keep this book on me. So let's put that away. Let's put my chisel in there. Let's do that. Let's put these connectors, this hammer. I didn't want to put the dirt in there. I want the dirt to go in here. Okay, so now that we have some power generation, we need to cap off top of that. Let me cap the top of that off, and I'll be right back. All right, so I capped that water mill off, and I noticed in my inventory that there was a quest to receive. So there's 100 experience for doing that. We need 1K ME fluid storage in order to complete that one all the way through. We need a fluid interface in order to complete this one. We need a matter condenser, a cell workbench, and a crystal energizer in order to complete that one. But I think moving forward, the next thing that we really need to look into is increasing our resources. So I would like to start dabbling in the mystical agriculture mod so we can start growing all of our resources. So if we look over there, I've already cleared out the concentrated plot so we can place down those seeds. So let's go into the quest book first, and this will probably help us down the line. So seed for thaw. I think that's supposed to say thought. This is the seed that we're going to want to craft in order to get this going all the way. So the phytogenic insulator will craft this using water, will spit out Inferium essence, or we can put it in the garden cloche to get 2, depending on the farmland that we have, I would assume. We can put it in a botany pot, which I think is kind of like the bonsai pot mod. This has a 75% chance to produce it. This is a hopper bonsai pot, or botany pot, sorry. So that will output into we can have it output into a storage cell that's connected to our ME system. But first, let's make this seed. So definitely want to do multiple of those. Let's get 9 of these Inferium seeds. Plant them here. And then I don't know how quickly these are going to grow with the sprinkler and the glass that we have. I do have this watering can. Yeah, and that's why I hate this watering can, because it breaks the water. See if we can get this to grow a little quicker. So I realized that this watering can sucks. I'm just not going to use it anymore. I think the only uses that it has is to, yeah, you can enchant it. I wonder what change mode does. Let's find out. Single block area. If I do single, oh, I bet it uses less water, but I still need water. Okay. I think mystical agriculture has a watering can of its own. It doesn't require water. It does say empty, though. It leads me to believe that this version does require water, because there are some of them that don't. Guess I don't know. We might have to find out. I can craft that. So let me go do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so I just crafted this watering can. The Inferium one requires this mystical fertilizer, which I definitely don't have the resources to do currently. So we just crafted the one that it requires to upgrade. So it's the iron and the bone meal in the bowl. And it says empty, and then I right-clicked the water and it said filled. And I have been doing this I've gotten 4 more essence out of it, and I haven't had to fill it again. So it's an interesting little thing that you have to fill it up, but then it doesn't require water again. So maybe the tooltip is broken? I'm not sure. But I do know that we can start growing this Inferium. So what is our first step down this line? Let's just let these do their thing. I feel like they should be growing faster with the sprinkler, but I don't know. Maybe that doesn't work with this mod. So, inferior essence. Apparently we need to make this farmland. So let's do that. Let's reclaim these seeds. We probably should have let those grow first. Let us pick up this dirt. Come here. Come here. Okay, that's all 9 of them. And now, we need to make farmland, which I think is dirt and the hoe, right? Yes. Okay. So we need a hoe of some kind. Let's just do a cobblestone one for now. Do 9 of those, and then 9 of these. And now we have the inferior essence. It's farmland. Oh, did that just ruin that? Wow. Okay, so apparently don't mess up. And that won't happen to you. So I recrafted the inferium farmland. And if we compare these side by side, this has an inferium output of 100%, and this one has a secondary chance of 120. So we want it on this better plot, so it has that extra chance. So I am just going to sit here for a second, see if we can't grow some more of this. I really wish that these would... I haven't seen these get affected by this once yet, which is concerning. I don't know why that's the case. I don't know. But looking at the length of the video, I do think that we might have to call it here soon. So the lily pad of fertility speeds up plant growth. Yeah, and so does the sprinkler. And so does the Terra glass. So why aren't they? I almost wonder if the Terra glass is too high. Like, does the Terra glass have a... Should it be like that? Oh, well, I just watched that one increase, but I don't know. I don't know what the meta is, I guess, for this. It seemed as though they worked. It works with the other crops, so I'm not sure. Well, looking at the length of this episode, I do think that after some editing, it's going to be a good length. So I do hope that you enjoyed this one. If you liked it, like it. If you disliked it, dislike it. If you want to leave me a little comment or say hello, do so down in the comments section below. Other than that, have a good morning or good night or good evening or good afternoon, whatever it is for you. This is Say-La-Vee saying goodbye. Bye-bye.